second-hand rabbits. Guns don't kill people, rabbits do. Whoop, whoop, whoop. I found one of those things you want. For you, Jenna, I will grab it. It's in Ann Summers in Canterbury, the Dulux rampant rabbit. Ah, that would be dead good, that. I'll let you use it on me later. But little did Jenna know it was a second-hand vibrator. It once belonged to Luke's ex-bird. She had used it, yes, it's true, but she really had looked after it, and in the box it looked brand new. So when Jenna got it going and stuck it in her minge, I had to look the other way because it kind of made me cringe. Turn the kettles off. Kettles, you fucking leprechaun. I don't trust you for a minute. I think you're just waiting to see who I might drop in it. I even heard a rumour you may even be Old Bill. You can try and get some info, but of me you never will. You can take me out and get me pissed and all my drinks are free. I really like the pints of beer, just not your company. Now the kettle's boiled. For Andy Marsh, the paedophile, this was to be his finest hour. He'd lost his team to Power Gen, but had been employed at Scottish Power. Kettles, in the meantime, was trying to keep us all on board his sinking ship of Power Gen, which was sinking because of fraud. There was Martin as a team leader, me, Dan, Graham and also Clive, Skinny Ange, Sue and Jan, and we all had planned to dive off the good ship Power Gen onto Andy's Scottish Power boat, because HMS Kettles was going under, but Andy Marsh was still afloat. See, Kettles did most of his managing while sat in the Bellevue, so we just gave him made-up deals, which he failed to check through. Kettles broke up with his missus. His marriage was in tatters, but that was all his stupid fault. Plus, he had more important matters, like the fact he'd received a memo which said he must suspend the entire South East sales team, who all had to attend individual disciplinary hearings for different counts of fraud. We weren't going to go down with the ship, so Andy Marsh was called. Right, Andy, we're ready now to come and work for you. We had planned to work for Scottish Power, so that's what we were going to do. Power Gen was still investigating us when the whole sales team resigned. Of course, for Mr. Kettles, this really was a bind. His sales team had up and left, leaving Power Gen in ruins. Kettles was then sacked as well, as he should have known what we were doing. So Andy got his old team back, and it was much like once before. Apart from the introduction of a thing called Energy Shore. This was a new governing body that was brought in to prevent rogue salesmen changing companies, much like how we'd done in Kent. We'd even been issued special badges to say we were Energy Shore approved. But after they'd found our dodgy deals, our accreditation was removed. Most of the team who had filled out forms for their Energy Shore checks had found they'd been banned from the industry, which for them was a real pain in the neck. There was only me and Danny Rolfe that hadn't filled them out, because if they didn't have the forms filled in, they were banning us from now. But eventually Scottish Power said we must do it or leave. Luckily, Andy Marsh the paedophile had a trick hidden up his sleeve. He'd heard it on the grapevine that this Energy Shore database was done purely on national insurance numbers. That was how they did the trace. So if I accidentally, by mistake, miswrote one of the letters, the chances of me getting passed were bound to be much better. But no one else had passed this check, so perhaps you could say I'm a jammy cunt, because I passed the check and got employed by Scottish Power in connection with Warm Front. The other members of the team were told that they must go, because the results of their checks had all come back as no. For them, I had felt sympathy, but I was happy for myself. All this goddamn fraud, I thought, is probably damaging my health.